Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today. My name's Howie Heckman, one of the developers here at PTS, involved a lot in the RFID programming side for our ClearStream and Tracer Plus products. Today, I'm joined with Brian Courtois of Celerway, and today's webinar is Seamless RFID Connectivity. So we're going to talk a little bit about connectivity out in the field with RFID devices, how Celerway can give you reliability out in the field for data connections back to your home offices. And then a little bit of an overview of our software as well in working with those devices. So before we get it started here, just a little bit about the agenda for today. Again, I'm Howie Heckman, joined with Brian Courtois. He's going to jump over in a minute here to go through some of the Celerway products and talk about the features of all of their devices. And I'm Howie Heckman with Portable Technology Solutions. So just to go through the agenda, we're going to talk about Celerway's devices, how they can keep you connected out in the field, some of the issues with mobile and fixed RFID deployments if you don't have that connectivity, that reliable connectivity out in the field with Celerway's type devices. And then how Tracer Plus and ClearStream, our products, can help you simplify deployments that utilize the Celerway devices, and they're always on connectivity to get data to your mobile workforce, get that data back into your home offices, and always have that always on connectivity. And as always, at the end of the webinar today, if we have any questions, please use the question panel. I'll read them aloud so that Brian and I can answer those for you. So again, as we go through the information here, if you have any questions, just use that question panel, send them over. Before I kick it over to Brian, I'll just talk very briefly about our two products that are just to mention these here and how they'll then work with the Celerway devices for that connectivity. So again, we're PTS, Portable Technology Solutions. We have two main lines of our products, Tracer Plus and ClearStream RFID. Tracer Plus is a mobile application development tool. It allows you in a drag and drop interface to design custom mobile applications for Android, Windows, and iOS devices, building in all of the features of the devices you're using, including RFID scanning, NFC, BLE, barcode scanning, GPS, all of those sorts of fun things you can build into your applications and design enterprise class mobile applications that you can deploy out in the field. Our ClearStream line of software is for fixed RFID and BLE scanning so that you can capture using fixed RFID equipment, RFID tags, BLE beacons, things like that, and route that the information that's collected by those devices to a backend database, backend systems or service, including our PTS Cloud product. So just really high level of the two product lines that we'll be talking about a little bit today after Brian's done with the presentation for the Celerway devices. And I'll kind of just illustrate how those work in tandem with that to keep data connectivity out in the field to your home office. So with that, Brian, I'll kick it over to you. If you want, just tell me when to switch your slides here, and I will move it along.
Sure, sounds great. Thanks, Howie. Yeah, so I mean, today I'm basically going to introduce you to how Celerway can help you fill those gaps in your network connectivity or a network coverage that you may have, and provide you with that flexibility to really enable RFID solutions virtually anywhere. So Howie, if you can go to the next slide, please.
Sure.
So what Celerway does as a company is we've been around for over 12 years. The company is based out of Norway. And we started in the maritime industry providing internet connectivity to super yachts. So highly demanding customers that needed internet connectivity, you know, for pleasure purposes, for business purposes, and for security purposes on the high seas. So we basically combined with unique software and premium hardware and some edge computing capabilities as well, we've been able to hold a signal and be able to have seamless internet connectivity up to 18 miles offshore. That's where we kind of perfected the technology within the maritime industry, right? So you're always resilient. Your connection is always optimal and it's always secure, so that you have an uninterrupted and secure internet experience wherever you go. That's out there, and with a very nice high throughput with our devices that are there. So as you can see, you could take this pretty much anywhere, whether it be transportation, logistics companies, to really kind of fill that gap over the road or if you're in critical communications where you need to have access to data all the time. And RFID is one of those instances where you want to have access to your assets and everything all the time. Or it could be even in, retail environments where you have pop-up shops or a number of other instances. We can help you bring that internet connectivity and bring that network, that full network, wherever you need it to be. So, Howie, do you mind moving to the next slide? So, how we do this is Celerway is able to hold a multi-WAN environment through the Celerway router. So we can take feeds from satellite, from cable, DSL, depending on if you're in a fixed location that you have from that perspective, or we can take multiple, cellular wide area network connections. Typically, our devices, our routers have 2 modems in them, right? So you can have up to 2 5G or 4G connections, and we can even take Wi-Fi, right? Depending on what the environment is. And what we do with that is we load balance those on the front end, and then we only let the packets through that are the most optimal, right? So you're not incurring the data cost, the high data cost from keeping all these connections going on all the time. It's really what we process through, and that's basically the highest throughput, the lowest latency packets will then go through to the devices that you need it to the most, and obviously the traffic's back and forth. So in this instance, we're showing an RFID reader that you're able to collect information from, going back into the network and vice versa, right? So you have a seamless, secure internet connection wherever you want it, anytime. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be RFID. It could be anything. It could be cameras. It could be a variety of other things. We're routing the information in a very dynamic way. So next slide, please. So here are a couple of examples of how we've done that. A great example is one where we partnered with PTS at the TWA hotel, where we basically hosted the RFID ClearStream demos at the TWA hotel. So we didn't have to rely upon the TWA network infrastructure to show those demos. So it's really the portability of bringing the router anywhere you want it to be. Translate that, and we've translated that into real world customers where we can accelerate proof of concepts. And in this instance, you see the picture that's there. That's our Stratus router that we have. That one is in a distribution center that is hooked up to those antennas on the right hand side there, those RFID ATRs that are there, and it's collecting asset information from day one connectivity to be able to go do that. Now, the key to that is, in collaboration with the IT organization, they don't necessarily want, a lot of IT organizations don't necessarily want to put proof of concepts on their network. We're empowering partners and customers to be able to do parallel network proof of concepts that are out there. So in this is kind of an instance of one that's doing it, so we can prove out the use case of it so that it's successful and it shows return on investment. Now, once you do that, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to talk over you, Brian. I was just going to say we've used this in a number of cases personally at PTS for setting up environments like this. So Brian points out this great demo that we had done with the Zebra ATR devices there on the left-hand side of the screen. We've now done that in many instances where we can deploy product to showcase RFID, showcase the technology, and just bring all of the equipment along. So that's all sort of plug and play when we're on site. You can just plug everything in. We get the WAN connectivity for connecting back to our home offices, maybe to show the services for the software, and have that connectivity without having to rely on any connection back to or through an IT network, or getting the IT folks involved with getting us up and running. But sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to jump on you there.
Oh, no, that's a great example, and you said it way better than I would be able to say it. Yeah, I will also say, once you're done with those proof of concepts, it's then up to you to determine do you want to maintain this? If this network is working well for you, you might want to have it as a standalone primary network, depending on what the scenario is. Or you could integrate it into your corporate networks and have a failover strategy, right? These devices have the ability to be a backup and a failover type of strategy as well. So you can maintain that as well. So that was the other point I wanted to make. Howie, you want to go to the next slide, please? So in essence, look, Celerway and PTS can help you bring your RFID anywhere. It can be anywhere from events and trade shows that we've talked about, pop-up shops, could be disaster recovery or disaster relief, anywhere you need to be mobile. One of the things that I didn't mention before about a couple of our devices that are battery operated, right? So we have two of the devices, all of them can be, powered by line cords and so on and so forth, and a variety of different ways from that perspective. We also have the ability to have, we have two battery operated routers as well. So it really gives you some flexibility to do it in some, whatever possibilities that you have. So events, pop-up shops, so on and so forth. If you look down on the lower left side there's an instance of a Celerway router that's embedded into an antenna in a rural environment. In this case, it's an orchard where they're collecting data within the orchard. And then we're seeing this trend on the road, being able to track your assets and making your vehicles more of a mobile workstation that's connected, fully connected all the time, so that you have access to the data back at corporate, or whether just locally with the drivers and the facilities people that are there. So we're here to help. We're here to help you bring your RFID solutions with PTS. So Howie, back to you.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much, Brian. All good information. I'm going to kind of maybe even build on a little bit of that with the software side of things and how those can be integrated, like we already just talked about a little bit, with the Celerway devices for that always-on connectivity. So again, I'll just be going through some of the challenges of mobile and fixed RFID deployment, importance of reliable connectivity, and then how Tracer Plus and our ClearStream products, along with Celerway, can help you kind of solve some of those issues. So first on the mobile side, is mobile RFID deployment. Some of these go back a long time. With mobile devices, you always expect always-on connectivity back to the home office, or and traditionally, if you're inside the four walls, you may have good Wi-Fi coverage and things like that. But when you go outside the four walls, or in certain cases even inside, there's limitations in the field of Wi-Fi or data connectivity coverage. And in some cases too, some of like the most rugged RFID readers that have been deployed now don't have WAN connectivity. So with Celerway, you're able to kind of build out and have more use cases for those types of devices. So you might have a very rugged RFID mobile device, which works great inside the warehouse. If you wanted to take it out into the field, like maybe this screenshot, this picture you see here of the guy scanning the cab, you may not have that Wi-Fi coverage out in the field. So with a Celerway device paired up with Tracer Plus software, you can have that always-on connectivity and extend the use cases for those devices to out in the field. And then a lot of the applications that are being developed nowadays really require that always-on connectivity. Web-based applications where you need to have up-to-date data out in the field. Previously you might have to sync your data before you go out and do some work. Now mobile workers are expecting that data to be always at hand and always be able to get that data back to the home office, immediately upon scanning it. So you have this great RFID device that can really scan, many assets, many devices and RFID tags at a single time. You also want that data connectivity to get it back to where it needs to go. And outside the four walls has always been a struggle with a lot of that, in the fact that you don't have that reliable connectivity. So with the Celerway devices, you can use mobile hotspots at a location, battery powered, like Brian had said. We personally use their Go device quite a bit. It's a battery powered device, plug it into USB to charge it, and you get all day connectivity from a mobile hotspot that you can take along with the mobile RFID reader. So again, the solution to all of those kind of problems are Tracer Plus mobile barcode and RFID software paired up with a Celerway device. And just to illustrate that fact, I mean, most of the times we go out and show clients the Tracer Plus software, we will do it over a Celerway device, because you can either, when you're going there to see the software, you don't have to worry about connectivity and getting on a different network and you know, finding Wi-Fi and pairing that up. You can really kind of pre-configure it, go out in the field and use the application, or even just package it all together as a solution, ship it to where it needs to be, so those mobile workers can just kind of plug everything in and start scanning RFID tags out in the field. So again, that Celerway connectivity paired up with Tracer Plus out in the field, you really can extend the use cases of your RFID deployments for mobile RFID. In the world of fixed RFID, same sort of thing, except it's maybe more so now that we're seeing a lot of different types of installs of fixed RFID. A lot of the setups that we've traditionally done are inside the four walls again, but the devices are hardwired into the corporate network. You know, they're expected to be always on in that corporate network, and so the use cases were, you know, shipping portals, receiving portals, stockroom tracking, where these devices are just plugged into the network. Maybe some server software someplace is connected always to that device from the server to those fixed RFID readers. But we're seeing a lot of other use cases now. Brian had a good picture of a van, a truck that, you know, had a bunch of equipment in it. A lot of end users want to be able to scan that with a fixed RFID reader. So you don't necessarily have to take a mobile device and kind of wave it around and scan everything. Just have a fixed reader on that in that van, and have it scan for RFID tags and send that tag back to a home network. So you know what's in that van. That in the past wasn't always possible, because those fixed readers were typically meant to be on the network and have that server software connected over just a LAN cord. But utilizing a Celerway router, you can have that WAN connectivity as this van goes wherever it may need to go for work, and then have the ClearStream software capture that tag data and use that data connection to send the data that's scanned back to your home office. So it really expands the use cases, not only in the mobile side, but on the fixed RFID side. You can use these devices in a number of different ways. The screenshot here, I think Brian had the same one. It's a trade show type application where the portal, as you see it there, is packaged with a Celerway device, ClearStream software, and it's really just brought to the location and installed. And you're able to get the data from that and send it back. No more do you have to, you know, work with the location's IT team to get, you know, an Ethernet cable run to this portal here. You know, get on their network, go through any type of security review or anything like that that you may need to at that location. Just ship the equipment, plug it in, and you'll have that connectivity back to your home office. We're seeing a lot of installs like that as well, even within a corporate. And Brian actually had mentioned this as well, that you may want to use this equipment just to bypass all of that internal networking IT headaches you may run into in getting the equipment certified on the internal network, getting approved for connection into their LAN environment. You can just ship the equipment to the location with your WAN coverage for the equipment, and the end user just plugs everything in and is able to get that data back to wherever it needs to go. Maybe a cloud platform like the PTS Cloud. Just ship the devices, plug it in. RFID scanners are scanning for tags, sending that data over the Celerway WAN connection back to your home office, and there's no IT headaches there. It's all outside of the corporate network, just relying on that WAN data connectivity. So with that, I'd like to say, how does ClearStream and RFID help simplify these deployments from the software side? So I'm not doing a demo of our software today, but I'd just like to talk a little bit about some of the stuff. And I would also mention, it's not on this slide here, that all of our software is free to try. So if you go to our websites at tracerplus.com or ClearStreamRFID.com, you can download the software and go ahead and start using it. If you have a Celerway device, you can immediately just plug it in, connect it up to your equipment, and get that data back to your home office. But all of the software is available there to try. So first, on the ClearStream side, there's two versions of our software. There's ClearStream for Windows and ClearStream Onboard. ClearStream for Windows is an application you download on a Windows server or PC, and that allows you to find readers on your network, configure the readers as you may need them, capture that tag data, and send it to a pre-existing system. Just map it to a back-end database, to a back-end third-party service, or even to our PTS cloud service, and through a UI map and configure those readers into that system. It's all drag and drop. There's no programming involved, and that's kind of what we always strive to do with our software, is make it so that anybody can set up the applications, start collecting data, and see the results immediately. With the Celerway routers, our ClearStream Onboard product is a very, very good option for these remote installations. So like we mentioned, kiosk type applications are pretty common, where you want to have a remote RFID reader or application set up that might be set up on a cell phone connectivity, and you're just sending data from that. So it's a remote installation. It's outside the four walls. Maybe it's like a car gate or something where you're scanning a UHF tag on a windshield and you need to raise the gate, things like that. It's been deployed out in the field. It's not necessarily or easily placed on a corporate network. So ClearStream Onboard, what it does is it actually runs directly on the RFID reader. So rather than being on ClearStream, a Windows device, it's on the reader itself. So you're shipping or installing the fixed RFID reader at the location, and then just configuring it over a web site that we have to configure the onboard readers, and it's sending its tag data to your home office. So if you just deploy a ClearStream onboard reader connected to a Celerway router, it can just send its data when it can over to where that endpoint is set up, so that you're collecting all of that data out in the field. So the two slightly different versions of the ClearStream product. One is a Windows-based application, all drag and drop, point and click configuration. ClearStream Onboard, still point and click configuration, but it runs on the reader itself and can send data over a network from where it is installed at the equipment. On the mobile side, we have a product called Tracer Plus. Tracer Plus is, like I mentioned, an application development tool that allows you to design custom enterprise-grade applications for Android, iOS, and Windows-based devices, and deploy them over a network out into the field. So you can hook up mobile workers with these custom-made forms, all again drag and drop, point and click, that allow you to design things for inspections out in the field, RFID tag scanning, barcode scanning, all those sorts of things. Design them in our Tracer Plus desktop tool, customize them to exactly how you need, and you can really grow the application as much as you need. You can start with something simple for inspections, or go ahead and build out RFID scanning applications within Tracer Plus desktop. Deploy them over the air to your mobile devices, allow your workers to scan and collect the data they need on those devices, and then send that data back. And again, paired up with Celerway devices, hotspots for mobile workers. You can take maybe even existing RFID scanners that you have that may not have WAN connectivity, pair it up to a Celerway router, set it up as a hotspot. You can go ahead and scan data out in the field and send that data back to your home office. So these two products really allow you to get up and running on the RFID barcode scanning technology side, creating data collection processes that you can then marry up to Celerway to get that data back to your home office. So I think that's all I had actually on my side for today. We do have a question and answer period here, so I hope we have some questions as I jump over. Bear with me while I open up the question panel here. Okay, I'm just scrolling through the side. They don't give you much room on these GoToMeeting panels to see, and there's some questions. It looks like they're coming in.
Howie, when you do that, I'll make one other comment as
Sure.
well. I'll also say that look, you can get a lot of throughput through our devices. We actually have media companies that utilize some of our portable routers, battery operated routers. So they'll actually send information back, videos basically back to their social media, their editing teams, to be able to post on social media sites, or even roaming reporters that are out there in the field to make sure they have a constant connection and they're able to, shoot their video segments. They'll utilize our routers to be able to go do that.
Yeah, that's a great point, because if it can handle media, it'll be able to handle a large quantity of RFID tags out in the field. The RFID data is not all that much as far as data collected per tag. It can be a lot of tags, but it's nothing compared to, say, sending back, video and things like that to a home office. So it'll be able to keep up with, any demanding environment you may have with RFID.
Yep.
Okay, so here, let me see. I have some questions here. How hard is it to get ClearStream set up on a fixed reader that's deployed in a remote location like a trailer yard or outdoor kiosk? So this, I didn't go through the setup today. I can take this question. I didn't go through the setup today of ClearStream, but ClearStream is a very easy product to use in how it's configured. We've always strived to make the applications available for non-programmers. You don't have to learn the SDKs, the APIs, and things like that for the RFID readers. It's all point and click, and importantly, it's a free download. You can go to our website and actually install and start using it. As far as remote locations and kiosks, that you probably want to take a look at our ClearStream Onboard product, like I mentioned, and you would take that software, you basically just install it on the reader. You then use our website to configure the reader. And as long as it has that internet access back to our servers, it can start feeding data to wherever you tell it to send that data. So the installation is not very hard. Again, it's really just use the reader's interface to install the application, use our website to configure the reader, and then just plug in the, say, Ethernet port from the Celerway router to the gateway, or to the reader, and it'll start sending that tag data to wherever you have it pointed. I don't want to say it's point and click or plug and play, but we typically, if we're sending it to someone for proof of concepts or things like that, we'll set it up really quickly for them, ship it out, and then they can plug everything in. So it's really good for the final end user in setting everything up, where they have the Celerway router already on their network. As long as it has that connectivity, just plug everything in, and you should be able to get that data back to your home office. Question here, kind of follow up to that one. Can ClearStream, or along the lines of that, can ClearStream integrate directly with our internal systems or cloud platforms, or do we need to build middleware to handle that? So ClearStream is sort of middleware, so you wouldn't have to build anything, and it's meant to integrate with third-party systems. So you're really mapping your readers that you have in your environment, or sending or configuring it to send data to your third-party system, as well as our PTS cloud, which can be configured for custom use cases that our clients may have. Question here: are all of the features available on the onboard product compared to the Windows version? So great question, because we get this one quite a bit. The ClearStream Onboard has all of the main, I'd say, key features of the ClearStream Windows software. It doesn't have everything. There are some features within ClearStream Windows. It's been around much longer, and some of the features can kind of be used for unique use cases. ClearStream Onboard doesn't have maybe some of those, but it does have the main features of the software. Reporting tags being visible or not visible, so you know the length of time tags were there. Turning on the GPOs and using GPIs to trigger reads and all that sort of stuff. All of the main, most important features are available in the onboard version, as they are on Windows, but not everything. There's some stuff in there that's not available. If there's anything in particular that you would need on the ClearStream Onboard side, please follow up with us after the webinar today, and we can either talk about adding those for you or just get your feedback on what might be missing. Okay, so Here's a question. Can we see the programming interface? Curious to see what the environments look like. I can probably bring something up here. For the webinar today, it was going to be more focused around just the features of deploying things out in the field, but I can bring it up really quickly and give a very quick overview. So here's ClearStream for Windows. I'll give you a very high level of how this works. You're configuring a source of data and a destination of data. Now I have this pre-configured for something else right at the moment, but the source of your data could be a fixed RFID reader, a Bluetooth beacon gateway, even some dummy barcode scanners and things like that. The destination is where you'd like to send that data. So you can send it to databases, SQL Server, Excel workbooks. Custom endpoints could be like web service endpoints or the PTS RTLS cloud. So you're really just configuring each of your readers in your environment where you want to send the tag data as it goes. And it's a middleware. It's a mapping tool between your actual equipment out in the field and where you want to send the data. On the Tracer Plus desktop side, you're really just creating projects that have, you're basically adding the fields of information you'd like to collect on the handheld, and then you're creating the form and what it looks like. I'm just doing basically defaults here, but you're configuring that and you're turning on and off things like RFID scanning, barcode scanning, signature capture, or GPS capture. You're just configuring everything that's in the environment, and then you hit build deploy down here. And on the handheld side, you either can email a link to somebody, or you can scan a QR code, and the Tracer Plus application will actually download the project to the handheld. Just so you know, the Tracer Plus clients are available on iOS, the App Store, or in Google, the Google Play Store. So this is what those look like. We do have a number of recordings and webinars and things that we go through how those applications work. So you can take a look on our website for some more information there, but that's kind of high level of what you would see. Again, you can download those actually from our website right now if you'd like to get up and running. Okay, another question here. How secure is the data transmission when using Celerway devices in the field with ClearStream or Tracer Plus? I don't know if Brian, you wanted to handle this one, or I could probably talk to it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you want to set it up, from a customer standpoint, but we can install VPNs for the data so that it is the traffic is encrypted and it's private, and secure, I should say, overall. So we can do that at the router level. We can do that back into the cloud environment or your host system that you have. We can also do work with the network operators to have that as well done at the network level. So very secure.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Brian. Any questions more here? Looks like one last question here. We've been hesitant to deploy fixed RFID outdoors because of network reliability. How easy is it to implement something like this with the Celerway and a legit? So this is kind of similar to kind of what we've discussed. How is this something like this with the Celerway in a logistics environment? How easy it is to implement? Yeah, so like I said, you really the software is pretty straightforward in its setup, and then the Celerway devices, you would just basically get those on your network, put in your SIM cards, configure any settings that you may need for those devices, and really just work with it as the software typically is on our side, and just configure how you'd like to scan for tags, or in the Tracer Plus world, what those forms would look like that you deploy to your client, to the clients, and then just connect the devices to the Celerway router, and you're kind of good to go. For a logistics environment, it would probably be a fixed reader at some, kind of portal location where you're scanning maybe vehicles as they go through a gate, and then just have the fixed reader hooked up to the Celerway router, and it would send that data back.
Yeah, Howie, just to add a little bit to that, right? I mean, we can take those multi-cellular network connections. So dependent upon what you need and what the coverage is. Also keep in mind too, there's a variety of antennas, high gain antennas that can be applied to these types of solutions that will boost your range capability. So way more than what your traditional network would have. If you're struggling with that out in the yard and so on and so forth, we can help solve for that.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's more than just a single network, like Brian had said with these Celerway devices. You can have multiple SIM cards in there, and it'll use the most reliable connection to make sure your data gets back and forth. So if it's at a remote location, if it can be offshore, like Brian had said to start, you should be able to get a reliable connection in most cases.
We have with high-powered antennas. We have customers off the shores of the United States that it's 40 miles offshore that we're transmitting cellular data from towers onshore. So we can do it. It's just a matter of the setup and helping you problem solve that.
Great. Any other questions here? I don't have any left in my panel. Let me flip over to our next slide here, but if you have any questions, please send them over. I'd be glad to interrupt the follow us, watch us, contact us slide. But if there are no other questions, here's some of our contact information up on the screen. The webinars, as always, we'll post them to our website. I think the team here will send those out in some email newsletters, so you can watch them again if you'd like, just to take a look, at some of this, or share it with other people in your organization that may want to take a look as well as our contact information. If you have any feedback or anything like that on our webinars, please. We always love to hear that. It doesn't look like there's any other questions. I don't know if Brian, you had any final thoughts or?
No, just thanks for the opportunity. If anyone wants to learn more, I'm happy to help dive into it with the PTS team.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for joining us today, Brian. And we thank everybody for joining us today, taking time out of their schedules to take a look at the webinar today. But I guess if there's no other questions, if you have any follow-ups, please reach out to us. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And thanks again. All right, bye-bye, everybody.